Alrighty, we're back. I forgot to unmute apparently. Hello, how are you doing? Welcome back to you as well, XF. I hope you're doing well. So, what I was saying while I was muted, there's a number of items that are on the mountain that you could pick up, but are not really all that worthwhile to go out of a way for. Among other things, a Phoenix Down, which, if you're playing this with a regular party, definitely worthwhile to pick up because it's worth quite a bit of money. Or also softs, which you can't buy at this point, I don't think, which removes petrification in case any of your characters get petrified. For a solo character challenge run, if you get petrified, you are game over anyways, so yeah. And hey XF, welcome, how are you doing today? So these Gala cats, as you can see, they have a good amount of physical evasion, which means hitting them is rather tricky. What we can do is we can equip or not, because I don't have the daggers anymore. We could equip a dagger, because daggers cut enemies' evasion in half, meaning making it more likely to hit them. Plus, we would deal probably enough damage anyways to one-shot them. But since we don't actually have a dagger right now, we can't do that. And I'm glad you like the break time mascot, because I really like it too. Alright, we have to kill the cockatrice first, because that one can actually petrify us. I don't know what the chance is or how many turns it takes until it can effectively do that thing, but I'd rather not find out right now. Ooh, that's not good. I unequipped the shield. Oh, there it is. Turns out, second turn. Alrighty, so it turns out, second turn it can just knock us out, but it also has evasion. So the swords are not the greatest weapon choice here. And we just try again. Pretty simple. I'm probably not going to be talking as much today, because yesterday actually kind of gave me a bit of a sore throat, so that's less than ideal. So just enjoy the music, because the music is really nice in here, I think. Oh dear, lots of kitty cats. Fine kitty cats. That could take a while because they have evasion. Hey Lemon Kitsune, welcome. How are you doing today? I'm okay. Okay. I hope you enjoy your day. Uh-oh. Rabite getting poked. Rabite does not like getting poked. Don't get romped. Speaking of don't get romped, don't get killed again, please. Let's see. Alright, we managed to one-shot this one. For the shield, so that's good. That's really good, actually. That could have been spooky. Actually, that was spooky because we already died. This is probably going to be a relatively common theme for our solo night. That we will have more random deaths than bosses. Because a knight is pretty competent in taking out bosses just because of how much damage it deals with two-handed. Especially with the later swords. It's going to skyrocket quite a bit. So, already upcoming, we have a duo boss, Magisa and Forza. Magisa, once she drops below 300 HP total, she will call in Forza. Forza actually has a bit of defense. He also has, I think, about 800 or so HP. He hits like a truck with physical attacks mainly, and is overall rather unpleasant. Magisa, on the other hand, she is more of a spellcaster. She casts level 1 spells in the first turn, but then has really nasty abilities like Drain in the second one. Drain will hit us for, I don't know, about 200 damage, which is a lot to say the least, and also heal her for the same amount. So we just hope we don't get to see that one. Also, she only has 650 HP, so let's see, because I have an idea. Regal Cutlass, 322. Interesting. Let me think about this real quick. So if I deal 28 more damage, she will be... calling her husband Forza. But if I could deal just a little bit more damage than 322, as in 328 actually, I would be able to two-shot her right here. We just don't quite have enough damage, do we? I'm going to try. Oh! Well, there we go, that's easy. So I think that's the first time I've done this with a melee class anyways, where we just two-shot her before she could call in Forza, meaning we skip half the encounter. Yeah, that was really nice. Punch night time? Oh, punching actually would have been a really good idea. I was just thinking, the broadsword is probably still going to deal too much damage, but punching? That would have worked. I should have actually used a punch first. That would have been a good idea, Dryzalizer. At least you got Ferris instead of Lena. But yet, lucky you didn't get Galuf as a white mage. Right. You're playing a knight. No white mages here. White mage is already passed. We've done that one. So actually I think a knight can get the thing in the basement right away, right? We should be able to do that. Thanks to being able to guard all 100% of physical attacks. That could be interesting. Alrighty, in order to enhance the story we have to go into the throne room of this area here before we can go into the next thing. But there is actually a very interesting kind of basement in this area. Oh, well, while we can do that, we can't... Yeah, I actually don't want to go into the basement, so, but we can do, or could do, if I were allowed to run away, which I'm not, because Brave Blade, I keep forgetting that. We could actually go into the basement, and there's a very, very, very powerful type of enemy in the basement that just deals a ton of damage, and has a ridiculous amount of physical defense, and, well, has a lot of evasion, and a good amount of HP. It's really, really tough to take that one out. It also always back attacks you unless you specifically have a thief in your party to prevent back attacks. So yeah, we could now get that. So those Garki monster enemies in the basement are super difficult to run away from. But because of the guard, we could just nullify their physical damage and not worry about it. But oh well. Okay, we can upgrade to iron equipment here. Just get a full set of iron. I'm also going to get the training suit, because the training suit gives us +1... oh, also we got the mithril helmet from the cutscene earlier. So you actually find Lena's father's helmet, which is a mithril helmet. I forgot about this one. So you get basically 1 mithril helmet for free in the story. So we don't even need these ones here. How long do I anticipate this run to take? So the thing is, I'm not going to do this in one single sitting. I'm going to do this over the course of multiple days. So how long this one will take in particular? I would guess between 20 and 30 hours total. Not entirely sure. So in here we can steal this poor guy's glasses, and these glasses allow us to be immune to the blind status effect. So they are giving us 1 defense, so the same as the leather shoes, but also immunity to getting blinded. Blind actually works in this game, which means 75% of your physical attacks are going to miss. There is no enemy in particular that actually can blind you in this next area here, but there will be later, so having glasses to briefly use just to avoid that annoyance is actually going to be quite helpful. And right now there's literally no reason not to use it. Oh yeah, not running from any battles would probably add some time. I was just thinking, the red mage was just over 20 hours, a knight is not much weaker, but it will actually just take longer based on, well, we have to fight everything. Also, these enemies here are starting to be decently beefy, but thanks to two-hand we can still one-shot them, which I don't think is a property most other solo characters have here. Then again, most other solo characters just run away because there's not much of a reason to fight. This chest on the left here contains a silk rope, which is a decent armor for mage classes. A knight cannot equip it. Would actually be kind of convenient if we could, because it does give you a good amount of magic defense. The Maiden's Kiss removes the frog status effect, which we actually do really not want to get hit by. Getting frogged means we would get our attack power reduced to 3. We have currently 44. And yeah, we only have 1 Maiden's Kiss to remove that status effect, so there's that. In here we have a silver ring. Silver ring actually gives you +2 defense, so it would be better than the glasses right now. But we can't use it unfortunately, because only mages and I think medium armor class characters can use it. Sleep. I don't want to sleep. You'll find it funny that the Wyvern can actually fly to the top of those high mountains, but cannot fly over the lower mountains. Yeah, presumably these outer mountains are higher than that one mountain there. Alrighty, and upcoming we have a battle with an enemy or a boss called Galura. Galura is a pretty straightforward boss. The only thing it ever does is 2 physical attacks. It hits pretty hard, but the reason why it hits pretty hard is because it has a really high multiplier, but its base attack is actually relatively low. Which means if I equip a shield, it will actually deal almost no damage anymore. It has a total of 1200 HP, and after we deal... Let me equip the Iron Shield just to demonstrate. After we deal about 400 damage total, it will start counterattacking twice. However, because it doesn't have that much base attack, most of his physical attacks will just deal 0 damage, because since we have really high armor, you basically subtract armor from the base attack power. In this case, I think it's like 15 attack power, which it normally multiplies with 8, so it deals a lot of physical damage. But because we effectively nullify that physical damage before it gets multiplied, you often see no damage come through at all. The rush attack is the most dangerous one. As you can see, our health rapidly goes down after we get hit by a rush. And that will deal about 100 damage, and it's relatively dangerous. But because we effectively don't take any damage from the remainder of the attacks, it's not that big of a deal, and we can just easily heal up if necessary. We're actually getting pretty unlucky because I think the rush attack is a 1 in 3 chance on the second counter attack. So, yeah. Also, if I linger around in the menu here, that HP leak status, as it is called, from the rush attack, will actually drain our HP decently quickly, so I need to be a bit careful about it. So we have to pick up all the crystals one by one. Previously they just gave us the crystals, now we have to pick them up from the floor. Afterwards we need to catch them from the air after an explosion, and then in the end we just kind of get a few more. But hey, we already have our chop class, so whatever. They left a crystal? Yeah, one of the water crystals is forever lost. That's actually the mime crystal. You don't get the mime crystal until very, very late into the game. Hey Sildra, thank you for rescuing us, and sleep well until we meet again. Okay, that's that. Goodbye. Too early? Too early. Whee. Okay, and gonna remove the shield just so we deal double damage again, and move on. The enemies here are going to be a bit tougher. We might not even one-shot them with the additional attack power, but they also give a substantially higher amount of experience. So especially these eagle enemies are going to be pretty annoying to take care of because of this tentacle attack. Oh dear, I'm just gonna start hitting you. So the zoo have about 850 HP, but we just got the aging status effect. You can tell because of the grey hair. Aging status effect means that we gradually lose our stats, strength, agility, vitality, everything. We actually keep our level as a player character, but that doesn't really matter because all of our stats are eventually going to be lowered to 1. Which means, well, we are going to deal less and less and less damage until we are effectively at the minimum. So, this is why these eagle enemies are really bad if we have to fight them and we get the aging status effect. There's not really anything we can do about that either, aside from trying to one-shot them and hope they don't kill us or, well, infect us with the aging status effect before, well, anything bad happens. So yeah, this is kind of pretty much the worst case scenario right there, with the zoo, or way of getting the aging status, literally first attack, and the zoo still having full HP. Is this run gonna be brave? Yes, this is going to be a brave blade run. That's what we do here. Because the knight is virtually the only class that can realistically do that or profit from it particularly much. I suppose the gladiator could technically also do a brave blade run. But I did promise that if we get to the knight, we're gonna do a brave blade run, and here we are. I would actually preferably not get into any encounters until I get to the next city, because in the next city we get a pretty decently sized equipment upgrade, and we would take a lot less damage and also would dish out more damage ourselves. But well, we have to kind of wait through encounters here. Until we get to that point. Oh, again. Well, I hope this is gonna be just enough to kill the zoo before we die. 2 more attacks on this thing, we should be able to take it out before it takes us out. Maybe 2 attacks. Should be fine. Alright, we also reached level 17, so a little bit more maximum HP to work with, which really doesn't help at all against this aging status effect, so we just hope that doesn't happen anymore. Alrighty, we are now in the woods where I'm going to equip a shield, because there's basically no reason for me to well, not use a shield in the woods, but, well, we're briefly out of the woods, I suppose. Oh well, that's okay too. Unequip the shield. So, in Final Fantasy V, you can unequip your weapons and your shield in combat, but you cannot unequip or equip anything else. But hey, that's still quite useful. Alright, we managed to get to the next city, so here we get a bit of a boost in terms of defense. After the cutscenes, that is. Still takes a little bit. First of all, I'm going to buy a mithril armor, because that's the most expensive one, but we get a significant discount on the very first purchase. Even though this cutscene interrupts stuff, we still get the first item just for the original price it was displayed right here. Hello. In case you're wondering about all these chests, we cannot get them because they're all locked behind fire. Why they just accept fire like that in their castle? No idea. They're just there. That's normal, I suppose. However, now we finally can get new weapons, new equipment, and all kinds of new stuff. So first of all, we get new weapon for Ferris, and if we have enough money left over in the end, we're also going to buy weapons for our allies so they can knock themselves out more quickly. Get a mithril shield. We no longer need the other items here, like the iron shield, because it just does not deal as much damage. Bronze helmet we don't need anymore. Mithril armor we will equip very soon. Cannot equip a whip. Don't want the broadsword anymore. Let's see. We may want to have a plume hat for later. I think I do. And aside from that, we could also get a mithril glove for now in order to have more physical defense. Although there is one that is actually just around the corner in the chest, so maybe I did not need that. So we now have an attack power of 62. That is actually a lot of attack power for this point in the game. And also a lot of defense, which means a lot of enemies are going to be doing effectively 0 damage. Hey Dalek, welcome. How are you doing today? So, next up, I'm going to briefly buy Sleep, just for preparing to deal with Antline later on with low-level characters. So that's gonna make it a lot easier. This is basically just because of restrictions of playing with Ferris here, rather than with Butt. But at the same time, it's not really going to make that big of a difference. Alrighty, aside from that, we are going to buy all the potions. We're gonna buy a bunch of antidotes, eye drops, maiden's kisses, lucky mallets, and no softs, but a few more eye drops, I think. Just because some of the status effects are going to be more commonly, well, applied to us, because we're actually fighting everything for once, which is a bit more, well, less common than what I usually play. 3-day weekend starting tomorrow. Nice. I hope you enjoy it. So normally here, a lot of solo characters have to do a little bit of grinding in order to be able to reasonably tackle the next boss, but a knight has both a lot more maximum HP, but also on top of that, we have enough damage, and well, we also have the levels already. That would normally be useful here. The time for a Chimera grind? No. I don't think a knight would benefit that much from a Chimera grind. Kind of like before, I'm actually going to skip a lot of chests because they are out of the way and not terribly worthwhile in terms of contents. So there's a mithril glove that we already have now. In one of the chests in the doors there is other stuff, but here we go. So, here's a bit of a awkward position here. Those crew dust, when they are alone, they will cast flash, which means we're going to be blinded, which means 75% of our attacks are going to miss. What I'm going to do here is actually wait until one of them moves, then kill the other one, so we don't get blinded, because we should be faster than the crew dust, despite our mediocre agility, so we can avoid that from happening entirely. I, however, do want to pick up the elixirs that we find around here, because that's still the best kind of healing items that we can have. In these battles here, I want to defeat the feeder enemies, the weird red snake thingies, before anything else. And the reason is quite simple. If you defeat the defeater enemies last, they will summon wyverns. I think that's a cottage on the left side. Just basically a full heal in save points or other places. So not that worthwhile. Either way, there's basically 2 more enemies to deal with if I defeat the defeaters last, so I'm just going to defeat them first. Pretty easy stuff. The chest on the right contains a phoenix down. Or, well, a phoenix feather, whatever you want to call it. Wonder whether we can equip a green beret. Green beret is usually medium armor. I don't think knights can equip medium armor, but I can test it. It's gonna be a few more encounters, I suppose. What I could even do is I could go ahead and save and then go for that, because it's kind of along the way afterwards. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. That's the wrong place. That's a Thief's Glove. Thief's Glove is only equipable by a thief, gives you 1 agility, but more importantly, it gives you... Oh, that was not clever. I got lucky he did not use Flash. It gives you 1 agility, but more importantly, it gives you... a double success rate for stealing items from enemies. So instead of a flat 40% chance, you have a flat 80% chance to steal, which is really nice, if you have a thief. Which we don't. But hey, if you have a thief, I'd recommend you pick that up. Chimera. Chimera. Okay, we need to go over here. Derp. Let's see, green beret, +1 strength, +1 agility, and we cannot equip it. So only heavy armor for the knight. I was correct. Oh well, that's okay. It's usually a really good headpiece, but a lot of characters cannot equip it. So, those poltergeists are mean because they can confuse us. And considering how much damage we do, well, we're going to deal that much damage to ourselves. Okay, flash. Nice. Alright. Wow, we actually hit. 75% chance to miss, baseline, after being, well, hit by flash. So that's really lucky. That's why I bought a lot more eye drops, since there's a bunch of enemies in the upcoming areas that can just, well, blind us easily. Okay. Almost at the boss. So the next boss has a substantially more HP than any of the previous ones. The next boss has a total of 3000 HP. It's called Liquid Flame and it has 3 separate forms. It starts being humanoid form, and it randomly transforms into one of the other forms whenever you hit it with any damage. So, what we would like to see first is it turn into tornado form for us to run it out of magic so it can no longer heal itself afterwards. But how that's going to work out, I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to equip the Mithril Shield here initially, because initially the damage is not going to be relevant until I get the tornado form. So our general strategy is basically the 3 different forms have 3 different types of abilities. Whenever you hit the Liquid Flame, it will counterattack with one of its signature moves based on which form it is. On the humanoid form here, it will counterattack with Blaze or Flame. That deals 25% of our maximum health in damage. So it's a lot of damage to us because we have relatively high maximum health. The Tornado form's counterattack is that it's going to use Magnet, which in case we were in the back row, we would get pulled to the front row. Also, the only thing the Liquid Flame does in the Tornado form is it will just heal itself via Fire 2. Can only cast Fire 2 5 times, afterwards it will be out of magic. And each one of the forms has its own separate MP pool. The humanoid form does not even use any abilities that cost MP, so it will always be equally dangerous. It can also use Flame as a regular attack rather than just a counter attack. So there's that. On top of that, basically we have plenty of time to heal up during the Tornado form. So, the other form that we haven't seen or heard yet is the Hand form. The Hand form counterattacks with Fire 2. It has enough MP to counterattack 3 times, and each one of these Fire 2 deal a bit more than 300 damage. That's almost 600 damage with a single physical attack. Nice. Alrighty. Now the damage is going to be relevant. Flame, ouch, and it's gonna flame it immediately again if we hit it. The humanoid form has a 20% chance to evade. The Tornado form has a 30% chance to evade, and the Hand form has a 10% chance to evade if I'm not mistaken. There's the Hand form. We actually need more maximum HP now in order to survive the Hand force attacks. The good thing is that we actually have enough physical defense that we don't even need to worry about using elixirs here, because it will deal 0 damage to us every single physical attack, and it doesn't even have an attack that is dangerous in terms of damage towards us. The worst thing that can happen is, well, it's just gonna paralyze us and we can't do anything for a while. That's it. Basically this fight is just be patient enough to heal with potions, or if you want to go a little bit faster, use an elixir. That's it. Shield power. Red mage, you should have learned how to hold one. What? Honestly, I think it's actually kind of weird that the red mage cannot hold any shields at all. Like, considering that blue mage can hold shields, I feel like red mage should absolutely be able to hold shields, considering how decent they are in terms of physical combat. Attack number 3. We will probably need 6 attacks in order to be able to win against this stuff. And that was the second Fire 3 counterattack. Just because it can like switch back and forth between the hand form and the fingertips form, it's probably easier and quicker to heal up during Tornado form, where we don't get stunned half the time. If you use Final Fantasy XIV as a guide, the red mage uses its offhand for some kind of weird magical charm. I see, so like Dark Souls? I mean, to be fair, in a lot of types of RPGs, you do have like an elemental focus as a spellcaster in order to be able to cast spells. Final Fantasy 1, the red mage can at least hold buckles. Yeah, that's true too. Okay, that is attack number 4. 2 more. This will be one more counter attack with fire if I ever get to attack, that is. Rush. Should be able to finish it off right here. And there we go. Depending on which form you kill it in, it also gives you different items. The flame skein, it's a ninja throwing weapon, is probably the worst one in terms of value, so there's that. But at the same time, we're not really starving for money anyways in most solo character challenge runs. Just because we only have to entertain a single solo character for, well, items and equipment. You actually save a lot of time not having to equip 4 characters. A lot of money. It's like a floating orb, but the red mage in Final Fantasy 14 is more of a fencer, so no real need of a shield. In Final 14, they actually attach an orb to their bottom of their rapier hilt and turn it upside down to use it like a staff for spellcasting. It was a clever concept as both white and black mages use staff primarily. I see. That's fair. Yeah. Honestly, I like the idea of a Mystic Knight in Final Fantasy 5 being basically the evolution of a Red Mage to an extent, or at least a more advanced application of Red Mage powers. Because one of my favorite things to do in video games, generally speaking, is just the idea of what's the word? Basically having a mage that can also use weapons, but instead of just using either weapons or magic, they actually enhance their weapon abilities with magic and enhance their magics with, well, martial arts and combat prowess. Like, that's kind of sorely lacking from a lot of types of battle mage in so many video games. They're just kind of a little bit of everything rather than everything. It's kind of weird to me. That pot, by the way, we see in the background will restore your party to full health and HP and revive everybody, but, well, we don't want to revive everybody because we'd like to run away instead. So, in this upcoming escape sequence, we have 10 minutes to run out of the castle. Should not be that much of a problem, because thanks to the Knight's 200 ability, we'll just dish out a ton of damage to all enemies and can easily gain a bunch of treasures along the way. So, not too terribly worried about that. We will prioritize going to the side towers, which is kind of far out of the way. And these side towers have unique accessories and also a unique weapon that you cannot really otherwise get. Most of the chests contain elixirs. Some of them contain, well, unique items. Some of them are for Dancer with a ribbon, throwing weapon, or ninja star for a Ninja. I was thinking, what class uses a ninja star? Oh yeah, the ninja. Derp. And what else was there? There's a heal spell for the white mage in one of the chests. But yeah. And here we have elixirs. More elixirs to get more full healing, which is going to be relevant at some point. I'm not sure when, but at some point. I'm going to skip the chests that have equipment or spells that we can't use anyways. Sometimes you get into encounters and or random encounters during this section here, but it's actually kind of rare if you get into random encounters. Like, it's not uncommon that you run through the entire castle picking up everything and you don't get into any encounters whatsoever. There's 2000 gold in some of these chests, which are never guarded, but the more powerful items are usually guarded by 3 enemies. And these 3 enemies are a Gygus, a wolf, and a sorcerer. Sorcerer are by far the most dangerous one of the bunch, because they... oh, nice and preemptive. They can cast Confuse on us, and we deal a lot of damage to ourselves if we get confused. Often the Gygus enemy is more dangerous than the sorcerer, because they have 750 or so HP, and they counterattack with arrow as well as casting arrow 2 as their normal action once in a while. So they deal a lot of magical damage. And physical for that matter. The wolves, well, they are not terribly dangerous usually, especially when you defeat all the other enemies. They will run away if there's only wolves left in the battlefield. Which is convenient, because then I don't have to hit all of them. We get an elf cape, and actually I think I got like 2 rare drops in that encounter. That's not true. The Gygus enemies always drop a potion that can only be used by a chemist. It's a good potion, doubles your HP, but chemist only. Alright, I'm actually not going to risk opening up the other chests that can contain sorcerers, just because it's easy for me to take myself out. This one here, guaranteed, only contains a Gygus, so just 2 hits and it's down. There's, I think, one more on the left side that is guaranteed just a single Gygus, but I don't know which one it is. If you have a thief, by the way, just steal from the Gygus. Their common steal is elixirs. It's really, really good. So it's actually more efficient to steal from one Gygus, run away from the chest, and re-encounter the chest in order to steal more elixirs, because you can stack up 30, 40, 50 elixirs very quickly and very easily as a thief like that. Alrighty, let's see. I really want to get rid of the sorcerer first. They are most unpleasant. We got lucky so far that they didn't confuse us. I don't know whether they can confuse in the first turn, but either way I don't want to figure it out either. As you might also be able to tell, one of the knight's weaknesses to an extent is that we don't have a whole lot of magic defense. So magic spells usually deal a good chunk of damage, but due to the lack of magic defense they deal even more. Alrighty, we just have acquired a guardian dagger, which is a dagger, so we cannot two-hand it. But aside from that, it's a crazy good weapon for a number of reasons. One, it has a 1 in 4 chance to block all incoming physical attacks, so it's kind of like a shield but for a weapon hand. And everybody that can use daggers can equip it, which is almost all classes, so it's kind of amazing like that. On top of that, it also has the highest attack power out of any weapon you can have at this stage in the game. And there's no reason for me to not equip just the shield and the dagger here, because we one-shot these Karnak's enemies anyways with 1 hit. So, these wolves attack when the sergeant tells them to attack, but if you get this end battle here and the random encounter, the wolves will actually also attack on their own turns too. In this case here, they just don't do anything on their own turn until the sergeant tells them to attack. So what I do here is I get rid of 2 of the wolves, and then I kill the sergeant, because if you don't kill the sergeant first, you will actually run into the trouble that he's going to transform into Iron Claw. Iron Claw loves to use an ability called the Death Claw, which puts you to critical HP and paralyzes you at the same time. So that means you're almost certainly dead whenever he uses that, unless you get lucky and resist it somehow. Or you get lucky and he uses it so many times that he runs out of magic. That can happen too. Either way, there's not really any reason for most solo characters to encounter Iron Claw in any capacity, so we just defeat the sergeant instead of defeating the last wolf, making it a very easy encounter. You came back from cooking, look at the battle screen, saw 3 people dead, and you were like, oh my god, Yaga's in trouble. Maybe not. Alrighty, but with this we have completely completed that section. Also, one other thing I forgot. The accessory we picked up is the Elf Cape. The Elf Cape gives us a 1 in 3 chance to dodge physical attacks. It gives us 1 agility, so slightly faster, and 1 magic power. Doesn't really matter for our knight here in this case. But it's one of the best accessories that you can get for a long time, just because of the 1 in 3 chance to just completely evade physical attacks. It's really, really good. Let's see, if we are actually almost level 20, we might be able to sneak through before level 20. Alternatively, I will have to level up a little bit higher than I would like to. Is Sandmer going to give you any trouble? Not really. Just takes a while, but it's not going to be difficult in any capacity. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to buy 3 Mithril swords for my allies so they can go back to sleep a little bit quicker. Making it more easily to make this a true solo character challenge run. And we save and just move on. So in the next section, I do actually not want to be level 20. Because there's enemies in there that deal... that cast a spell called Level 5 Doom. Level 5 Doom means that it hits you with Doom if your level is divisible by 5. So that's a bit of a problem if we have a level divisible by 5, as you might expect, because we have no protection against instant deaths, so that would be quite simply a kill for us, or against us. So I don't want to be level 20. Also, level 5 Doom does guaranteed hit if you're level, well, a multiple of level 5, even if you are immune to Doom or instant death otherwise. Actually kind of ridiculous. There's the concept of death by math, where you use a blue mage in order to split levels or put an aging effect onto enemies and then kill them with level 5 Doom. Even super late game bosses you can destroy like that. It's kind of ridiculous. Hit that guy. Thank you. The zoo and the grass turtles. They might deal more damage, but at least they don't inflict us with the aging status. I need to check my experience again before we go into the library, because those level 5 Doom guys are pretty common, especially if we have to fight everything. That would be a potential big problem. Oh yes, you can be level 5 Doomed if you have a Bone Mail, but instead of killing you, it would actually heal you. So Bone Mail does protect you from level 5 Doom in a unique way, because instead of killing you if you're undead, it will instead just heal you. So you do survive it if you have a Bone Mail, but well, Bone Mail is not until a fair bit later. Mythril Dragon. Mythril Dragons have a lot of defense. Also, they deal a lot of physical damage, it seems too. They are not easy to take out, generally speaking, but we have just enough damage to deal with them usually. They're not friendly in terms of how much damage they deal. Let's see. 625. Alrighty, we're going up to level 21 before we enter the library, just to be safe, because I'm pretty sure we would hit level 20 somewhere in the middle of the library, and getting randomly instant killed by an encounter would just be less than pleasant. So it's just gonna sit here for a while. Yes, library enemies do give very low experience, because I'm pretty sure they made a mistake there on how they distribute the experience, but a little bit more damage also does not really hurt. At level 21 we have an attack multiplier of 10, which means we currently have how much attack power? 62 attack power times 10 is 620 damage baseline. So yeah, we will gain also a bit of a benefit being level 21. Being out on the field here is the most efficient way of grinding levels overall, so I'm just gonna do that. I may want to equip the glasses, because we could also run into bees. I'm not entirely sure there's bees in this specific section here though. The bees can blind you, which is why glasses. Yeah, okay, that makes sense, Komaru. So it definitely makes more sense to go to level 21. Uh-oh, there are indeed bees here. Well, these silent bees, when they use Needle as their ability, they will either confuse you, blind you, excuse me, or they will... I'm gonna use a dagger here. Just because they die in one hit anyways. They will either blind us, or they will silence us with their Needle attack. Blinding obviously is kind of really bad for us. Silence doesn't matter because we don't cast any spells. I'm going to just try and attack and defeat them this way. This is why I should equip the glasses. I just wasn't sure whether bees can, like, appear in this section. You know what? There's no reason not to also equip a shield, just to prevent some damage. Mithril shields have 25% chance to block attacks. So we have 25% from the shield, 25% from the dagger, and 33.3 whatever percent from the cape. Welcome to you, Mr. Devlin. I hope you're doing well, and well, I hope you enjoyed the little grimer. I like the happy grimer. For anybody who would like to have their own little grimer, I put the channel points relatively low so you can easily unlock it if you'd like. Or maybe a rabbit. I'm not sure what you mean with inverse multiplicative. It's just multiplicative. So basically, if you don't get hit by... So basically, first it checks for, let's say, the Guardian Dagger. If it does not block, then it checks for the Elf Cape. If it does not block, it checks for the shield. I actually don't know in which order it checks things, but... effectively... if we don't get hit 25% of the time because of the Guardian Dagger, we are going to probably not get hit 25% of the time afterwards. Which means 25% of 75% is how much? I have no idea how math right now, but... it's Kramer! Alright, nice. That's the first time. Good day. It's going quite fine, thank you, Glassjaw. I hope you're doing well as well. Welcome. You have been capturing them, many of them in Let's Go Pikachu. Nice. They make for a happy little pack. You're enjoying your 3-day weekend so far. Nice. That's very good. Alright, remove the blindness, heal up, and we're going to equip the glasses. This is why I got the glasses in the other area. You have 30 primers in your Pokebox. Nice. That sounds awesome to me. We can easily one-shot these Eagle enemies. For the turtle, however, I have to switch back to the Mithril sword. I feel when you pet the rabbit when it's actually hungry. I mean, I feel like a rabbit is always hungry. What Erotemonstrandum? No. Frogs are friends, not food. Yeah. Paper frog. Oh, there's a Rayquaza suddenly in the food box. Why not, I suppose? Oh, did I level up already? I might have missed it. We're hitting the turtle first because I'm pretty sure we can still one-shot the turtle despite the aging status. And the eagle is easier to defeat afterwards. Coffee, that sounds like a good idea. Maybe. Let's see, am I level 21 already? Not quite. Okay, that's like 3 more battles until 21. I wonder whether the bee encounter is a rare encounter, which is why I'm not seeing any so far. Soon. Going to heal up to full in case we run into Mithril Dragon that deals a ton of damage. But this way we're going to be closer to the library already. Oh, okay. We are now immune to the blind status thanks to the glasses. I actually don't know whether bees have evasion. It would make kind of sense if they had, but I don't really know. Silence! Does not really matter to a knight. Watashi Wakataze? I honestly don't really know what that means. Okay, we are level 21. We will now deal 10 times whatever attack power we have damage. Switch back to the Elf Cape. Save and let's walk into the library. So, library encounters are notoriously horrible for experience and money. I think, and I don't actually know that, I think the reason for this is because of how the encounters work. So, in the library we will always only run into one enemy at a time. And the trick about this is that once we defeat one enemy, the game script tells the enemy to unhide the next enemy, and that's how you fight the next enemy afterwards. I think you only ever gain experience from the last enemy you kill, and that actually effectively ends the encounter. It is not random whether you have more enemies to encounter after a certain amount. It will always be pretty much the same number, depending on which fight you get. There's still like 4 different types of fights you can get in each area. Also, we just walked all the way here without even getting into an encounter. That's kind of ridiculous. So I'm equipping the Mithril Shield as well as Guardian Dagger before interacting with this book because, well, Ifrit is most certainly faster than we are. Actually, never mind. We don't have to do this because Ifrit is also casting either Fire 2 or Flame in the very first turn. This could be a bit difficult fight, let's see. Ifrit has 3000 HP and he loves to just naturally use Fire 2 or Flame in the very first turn, which both deal a ton of damage. And we don't really have any protection against it. Flame is better because it deals slightly less. In the second turn, he either uses a physical attack that can also stun us, which is really bad, or another Flame, which is now another 25% damage, or just a regular attack. We basically hope for the regular attack. He also has a decent amount of physical evasion and defense, so yeah. Nice dodge, Ferris. Very good. So that is 2 attacks. We probably need 7. Flame. Alright. 3. Oof, that's not good. Fire 2 will kill us. Yep, and that's that. So yeah, we just hope he does not hit the physical attacks. He tried to kick twice in a row, which is a 1 in 3 chance on the second turn each time. Oh well. We basically deal enough damage to punch through this fight relatively quickly. So we are fine on that end. What I'm not entirely sure is whether we want to add more levels for the boss afterwards. Because the boss afterwards is called Biblos. And oh boy, if you have to use physical attacks against that guy, you might be in trouble. Let me think about this. We deal just about 400 damage per attack, which is sufficient to punch through his drain eventually. But we might want to have a little bit more attack power and maximum HP just to be able to survive it. Yeah, probably. Also, this is page 64. This is the level 5 stream we were talking about. So here we are. So this is going to be 3 times page 64, and we also only get the experience from the very last page we defeat, which is why the experience and, well, money from these encounters is so terrible. At least that's what I think it is. And Cancer CC, thank you! Thank you very, very much for 25 months of support. Welcome back. And I'm glad you enjoy your stay. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, we don't... If we had access to flame rings, this would actually be potentially very, very helpful here, but this is kind of literally the dungeon we get, we have to do before we get access to these flame rings. Alrighty, let's try this again. Hoping to get a bit luckier here. But then again, it might be more reasonable for me to go and grind first anyways, just because Biblos is a real monster. Fire 2. 1 hit. Ah, high kick again. That's kind of mean. Flame will kill us. High kick will kill us too. Alrighty, that's another death here. Because he literally cannot choose an ability in his first turn, and he only has 2 turn cycles. That does not kill us. Let me actually think about this real quick. Having more maximum HP would certainly help us, as well as more damage. If we dealt actually just a little bit more damage, we would be able to defeat Ifrit in just 6 attacks rather than 7, which would make a huge difference. But really the big concern is Biblos. We don't have a good element or anything particularly most efficient against Biblos. We are just decently strong and that's about it. Let me see and look at my list. So let's see. Level 24 we gain another attack multiplier, as we do on level 26. And it doesn't take that long to level up to the next section yet. So maybe level 26 might be a reasonable way to go. We will have at that point just over 1000 HP. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Alrighty, so let's go and grind, I would suggest. However, I'm I apologize for that. I'm going to cut the stream a bit short today because, well, I had to get up early, and unfortunately I'm really feeling the effects of it now, so I feel like it's better for me to rest for now. So everybody, sorry for the short stream, but thank you so much for watching, for listening and for lurking, and thank you for understanding, and I wish you good night.